Welcome to my Advocacy Activism in the Early Childhood Context assessment. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I sit today, the Bunwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I thank them for their lessons on looking after the land, sky and waterways, and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. What is a teacher? According to Cambridge Dictionary, a teacher is someone whose job is to teach in a school or a college, or a person who instructs or trains others, especially in a school. But being a teacher is so much more than that. Being a teacher includes being a nurse, a friend, a cook, a co-worker, but most importantly of all, it means being a leader. Being a leader is defined as a person in control of a group, country, or situation, or someone or something that is winning during a race or other situation where people are competing. Yet both of these descriptions seem very vague and very unpalatable. A leader is someone who is approachable, easy to talk to, who listens to all the ideas of their peers, who can delegate without being demanding, who understands the needs and the rights of the children, families, and that of their co-workers, who understands the policies and procedures that need to be followed, but will not hound others to get paperwork done, and who has empathy when engaging with anyone who visits and engages with the children. While leaders are important in the early childhood context, a leader doesn't have to be just one authoritative person who is seen to be the benchmark for leadership. Rather, a leader should be someone, or more than one person, who sees the best in others and creates the social capital needed to promote continued learning in both children and educators alike. So then, what is advocacy? According to Wanaganayake, cited in Wanaganayake et al. 2012, advocacy is described as advancing the value, needs, and interests of an individual or group within existing frames of reference. To me, advocacy has been the most discussed issue for many years. Advocates are generally considered quiet achievers, the silent ninjas in the advocacy and activism movement. They are the people who are behind the scenes talking to politicians, taking research to the next level, and providing findings at council and government meetings. Advocates for the early childhood sector are trying to create positive change for families and educators alike, fighting for issues like better pay and ratios, or better funding for the sector. They use the myriad of research to show the reasons change needs to be made and the best way to accomplish this change. They formulate plans to present the government, using not only their many years of experience but also much of the research that has accumulated. Wanaganayake also states that these actions intentionally seek to influence outcomes that are in the best interests of the children, families, and educators, and promote children's rights and social justice. So then, what is activism? To me, activism is the more active part of the advocacy and activism movement. Activists are the front men of the movement, almost being the faces in the media. They are the people who lead the rallies and protests that visit the centres to discuss the wants and needs of the educators and families, advocate for joining the union, use their voices to create change almost immediately. While activists have been likened to the fundamentalists of other movements, activists of the early childhood movement are not aggressive, but rather progressive in their desire for change. While they may seem loud on the outside, it is all bark and no bite, as peaceful demonstration is a preferred action to see the quality of change we want to see. Advocacy and activism in the early childhood context. How does this affect my image of the teacher and my interactions with peers and children? As an early childhood educator, my philosophy underpins everything that I do. Children are central to everything, and their health and safety are paramount to advocating for best practice. In my perception, a teacher is not just an imparter of knowledge, but a voice for the voiceless, and an advocate for the most vulnerable, a peaceful activist for positive change, a leader for the cause, a researcher, an ear for listening, a shoulder to cry on, and a friend to share your world with. These are all things that I strive to be for the children I engage with. I speak up for the children when they can't speak for themselves, especially when they are younger. I use the many different intelligences coined by Howard Gardner to develop rapport with the children and their families and provide unique and personalised care to all. When looking through the different models of leadership, it is important to understand that there are different levels to leadership and that not all teachers fall under the right level to be seen as a leader. Yet despite this, many teachers have a better understanding of what level they fall under alongside the different types of advocacy they use. These range from personal advocacy, or how I advocate for an individual, to system advocacy, such as being a member of early childhood advocacy organisations. From this, I can use my personal attributes, such as content knowledge and my understanding of the pedagogical basis of early childhood learning, to strategic planning and what methods I use to reach my advocacy goals. By using and understanding all of this, I will become a great leader, teacher, and advocate for the children and families in my care and the early childhood industry holistically.